You know I'm right live. And on You Know I'm Right Live, Joe, you need to expect the unexpected. Nick Durst here along with Joe Calabrese. We are sponsored and powered by StreamYard, presenting an episode of You Know I'm Right Live here for you on our YouTube channel, the 7th episode of You Know I'm Right Live. And Joe, last night, Wednesday night, Big Brother Season 25 kicked off. I'm not too sure about the cast right now, but you know we're willing to wait and see. Right after one episode, your initial takeaway from episode 1.
We like the cast this year in this house.
Okay.
Was not the case the last couple of years. We're not really too into it, but this year we think it's a well-rounded group.
Too many people.
Well, I agree with that. I mean, I made this point last week, right? My ideal cast size is somewhere in that 13 to 14 range. Once you get 16, and we'll talk more about the twists here in the next few minutes, but as it stands, there's probably the possibility that more people are either incorporated into the game, added to the game, which we know of. So once you hit 16 and you start to increase it from there, it's certainly a lot. And they have 100 days this year, right? So it's going to be the longest game in history. So there's going to be a lot of time to fill. As you know,
that's why you got the extra people to get the extra. What's it usually 80 to 85 days, 90 days?
Yes, it's usually 80 to 90 days.
So you get extra 10 days, which means you're looking at 2 double eliminations probably.
That is correct.
That's maybe
possibly a triple. That's right.
Triple once, so.
And you get to do a double once, a triple once, right? So we don't know how that's necessarily going to play out. And obviously, as you know, I would prefer this competition to start middle-end of July, right? Like if you want to start it right after July 4th into like the second or third week, that's okay. I really do think that you need those extra 2 or 3 weeks during the summer season as opposed to trying to extend it into the fall. But yeah, so we're starting in the summer here. It's going to go through the fall. I think this is a huge litmus test for CBS because of the writer's strike and everything that's going on. CBS needs content. This is like Survivor and The Amazing Race, a staple of the network, 25 years now going strong. So they'll get to see how the ratings of the show do when it starts in the heart of the summer, going through almost the entirety of the fall.
Right. So remember, they did All Stars during the pandemic.
Yes.
And started late. It went pretty much along this timeline, but that was because they couldn't start on time. So we'll see. I think, depending on the writer's strike here, that it's very possible that if the writer's strike continues, we're going to have a quick turnaround, and we're looking at January, February. They're probably doing All Stars, I would think, just continue to get it, do something, because they probably would want to do Celebrity Big Brother, but I don't think they can because
they're contractually obligated.
under.
Right.
So, but I think they're going to see a lot more of these competition shows trying to be churned out quickly. We'll see how the ratings go. And you kick off last night in a weird way. First time ever the whole cast meets on stage, in my memory. And they watched a weird video, which really made no sense with Frankie Grande and the other two. Anyway,
it was Brittany and Danielle, by the way.
That didn't add anything to. I didn't get it. Whatever. They could have just said,
Well,
I
it was to sell the metaverse, the metaverse, the multiverse of Big Brother, the comic universe, the scramble, or the other two. Crazy stuff.
Scramble. So last night was the scramble stuff. So first impressions here before we even get into anything. Walking in the house here, it's really tough to judge a book by its cover. So I initially was looking at these guys and girls. I said, "There's maybe like 4 people here that can contend," because I don't think a lot of them physically are going to be able to do it. So I thought America Lopez was probably going to be the top girl, and she did great in her competition. And I thought that, looking at the rest of the cast, I thought Hassam, because of his burlesque background, was very strong, and he did pretty well in his competition. but he just ran into an absolute tank in his competition. We'll get to that in a moment. I thought Luke Valentine was going to do good because of his size and his personality and his packages. 30-year-old illustrator. And I thought Corey was going to potentially not do too well because of his cockiness, I thought, and he ends up losing.
Yep.
Jag, I think was going to do well because, we've never seen somebody like him before, and it's about time we have, and he's very intelligent. And again, Matt Klotz, I thought was the favorite, and he dominated his kick in the butt competition. This guy is a great swimmer. So those are the people that I initially thought were going to do well in this season. Did anybody catch your eye from the jump?
Well, we had similar thoughts in this house. Obviously, America is going to be a favorite amongst the both of us because
for you, for sure, America.
For sure. I love America.
Let's listen now. So America, we're playing this back because right now, America, we're going to play this for you in months from now because you're going to probably be on I'm Right. Unless you win, then it'll be tough to get you. And we'll say how after the first night we said, "Oh, we're going to get America on."
We knew. I like Matt as well. We like Cameron in this house. So Cameron is I believe he's from Georgia. That's Southern stay-home dad. But he served for the United States. So we're always big on that in this house.
Cameron Harding.
And if you want to incorporate another girl, so we got 2 guys, 2 girls. Riley, the bartender.
Riley, I knew it was going to be a favorite of yours.
I'm disappointed that I didn't see her in Nashville when I went to SummerSlam last year.
That's exactly what I was thinking. When she set up from Nashville, I was like, wow, Joe was just there last year. Well, at least that's
I was there this year.
I'm right. You could say, listen, I came to Nashville 2 years ago. I'll come back.
Where you bartending? I know that area on Broadway quite well. We'll figure out what place you're in. But yeah, so those are the ones who seemingly caught our eye.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna name names, but they're the people I saw in their intro videos. I was like, this person has no shot. Like, there's no shot.
Yeah, there's always a few of those. I mentioned this before last night. There's always certain casting duds that I won't get further into. But I don't dislike Luke. Luke seems like he's a cool guy. He's like when they try to cast men for the show.
I think Luke's gonna be great.
I
think Luke's a favorite.
I think he's one of the favorites too, but he's got to stay. He's got to lay low at the beginning because again, he's got like the athlete look.
If I'm Luke, I'm trying to get with Jag and Matt, and let's say we got a big 3 here. Let's take it to the end. That's
absolutely. I mean, you and I know this quite well, being super fans. The group of 4, 5, 6, the strong bonded group of 4, 5, 6 that gets together and formulates in the first 2 or 3 weeks of the show. Usually, if it's a group that's got 2 or 3 competitors that seemingly wins a couple of HOHs and a couple of these vetoes and kind of like dictates a majority of what's going on in the house, those are the groups that usually go to the end.
Right. So we'll see who wins HOH, which we don't know. But Felicia, is she the oldest cast member they ever casted? Because you watch more than we've ever seen a 63-year-old come in.
Well, when Jerry was cast for his season, which was the season that Dan Giesling won, Jerry was in his 70s. So Felicia's not the oldest cast member to ever go into the house. But
so what I was thinking is,
but there have been people in their 60s who have gone to the big.
Again, I'm thinking with the writer's strike, what they could do to do some spin-off stuffs. The Bachelor, they're doing a Golden Bachelor where the Bachelor is 70. So they could have maybe done a Big Brother season with older people. I don't know if that would play well ratings wise.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's difficult because it's such a niche kind of thing to do. You can't really stream it or put it exclusively on digital because how many older people
it's got to go on CBS
have access to that, right? So you got to be on the network show, but it's like, are we really going to watch that? I don't know if I'm going to watch that. So.
Right. I don't know. We'll see. But you go into the competitions and they leave us hanging here with who wins the last competition. Now, I would not want to have to do an endurance competition off the bat. That was the most gruesome one. The kick in the butt one was relatively simple. I think I would have dominated that because I do a lot of pulsing exercises. The one that Jag won, he did that in like, what, 15 seconds? So that must have been pretty easy. There were some people who embarrassed themselves in the competitions. But how do you not let us know who wins the last comp? And then you cut a commercial, you come back, they're all standing up there. So the competition's over. And Joe and I will peel back the curtain here for you. This show is not live ever. It's never live. Maybe the last episode of the season is live. Right. This is like done 12 o'clock yesterday afternoon. So, and we knew that the winner was done because...
Well, evictions are done live too. But other than that, you're right. Yeah, evictions are done live.
Well, okay. I'll give you that. But the competition was over because they cut back. Everyone's standing up. And then they go in the house. So we didn't know who won that. The show was an hour and a half. It's supposed to be 2 hours. My DVR set, it says 2 hours, and then young Sheldon comes on. I'm like, what the heck's going on here? And then they just go in the house, and they're like totally fine with the fact that there's a new person there. They don't even question like what's going on. Nobody tells them, why Jared's mom is there. Okay, she's going to be in the game here from Survivor. Mm-hmm. And they're just like, whatever. If I am on the block off the first episode in the bottom 4, I'd be furious because she got a bye. She got a bye week. Okay. Right. You and I have been screwed in softball by these bye weeks in the big time. So that to me was
I'm not quite sure that's the same thing.
I would target her right away. If I was the other team, I'd be targeting her. And now the big question is, do her and Jared reveal that they are mother and son? I think they're going to keep it quiet.
Well, unfortunately, keeping it hush-hush never works. We've seen through the years duos, sister duos. I mean, people are going to know, right? So I think somebody will pick up on the fact that Jared and his mother, who was his former Survivor contestant, look exactly alike. Well, not maybe exactly alike, but they look alike, right? Enough to sound the alarm bells. But yeah, you're right. And I mentioned this point last week, right? And this goes along with like having big casts, right? The first 7 to 10 days, I'm very traditional. I'm a very traditionalist when it comes to the Big Brother house. I want people to go in. I want people to get acclimated first. I want people to hang out a little bit. I don't want people being thrown for a loop necessarily immediately. Now, if you want to throw 1,000 twists as the show is going on, that's totally fine. I don't like the fact that, again, people are going to be nominated on night 1. We've seen evictions happen on night 1. I just think like when you go through the whole process of being sequestered and you're away from people for a couple of months, I think all of that kind of takes away from the experience a little bit. I think in order to maximize the experience, you want people to at least have, again, like if you're in the house for only 7 days or, up to 10 days and then something happens quick and you get evicted, that's okay. But it's like they're going in the house knowing that they're going to be nominated on night 1. That's like, I don't know. It adjusts the way that you play the game. And yes, you have to expect the unexpected and you have to be ready to strategize in all different ways.
Right.
But I like a little minimalist at the beginning of the game, right? Then once you get to the first HOH competition, the first veto competition, the first have-nots competition, right? Then we can start getting a little, kooky and throwing twists left and right. Revealing the show theme is okay. Revealing the fact that there's a Big Brother multiverse and there are 4 different multiverses, right? So that means that there are 4 different themes that are coming into play in the game this summer.
Does that mean there's going to be 4 different guests from 4 different shows coming in the house?
I've thought about this for a long time. My prediction is that as the season goes on, you're going to see people blast from the past come back, and again, they always bring back people to have on the show regardless, to host competitions and stuff like that. But I think there's a possibility that they have people come back to play in competitions or to impact the game who don't necessarily go back into the house to actually play the game. You follow? So we'll see how that works out.
we'll see how this theme goes. Who knows how it's going to play out? We'll say it's going to be a long season.
I love
Personally,
me some BB Comics. I love
going to be
BB
too long.
Comics.
It's going to be too long of a season, in my opinion. I don't need 100 days. And how do you not have a show tonight, the next day? You're like,
I know. You got to have it on Thursday.
Show us who won the fourth competition, and show us the reaction to the new person. That could have been an episode.
Thursday nights, 9:00. That's live eviction night. It's been live eviction night for
no episode this week
for over 20 years.
I don't know what's going on, but we'll see what happens there. We'll be breaking it down every week here, but exciting premiere for sure. And now moving on to our next topic here. WWE SummerSlam. We're 1 year removed from Joe being at SummerSlam, Front Row Joe. And now it's going to be in the Motor City of Detroit. I wouldn't rule out Joe getting there somehow on Saturday, but we'll see. I think he's going to stay put for this one because the card is weak. I want to start off with talking about the fact that Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus bumped from the card, and they're going to do the match in Canada on a Raw. Horrible.
Yeah, I think it's terrible too. I think you could have fit one more match on the card.
Just it's not fair to them. They can't be happy. You think Trish came back to do a run to do a blow-off match on Raw?
Well, they're doing the Slim Jim SummerSlam Battle Royal to get a lot of the talent on the show. That's something that you could do on the pre-show.
Yeah. I mean, I just don't get it. I don't get it. All right, so let's talk about that Battle Royal. Obviously, everyone thinks LA Knight's going to win. I don't think there's any shot he's going to win. He loses every match now. So who do you think's going to win this Battle Royal?
Well, it depends because we may see a returning superstar to return. I think you'll see probably Sami Zayn in it, considering that Kevin Owens is injured and can't compete and they can't defend the tag titles. So they're not on the show either. So I think Sami Zayn will be in the Battle Royal, and I think he'll be a big crowd favorite. I think LA Knight will be in the Battle Royal. He'll be a big crowd favorite. I'm trying to think who else. I mean,
AJ Styles,
Sheamus, AJ Styles,
Karrion Kross.
I'm trying to think of some of the Raw guys who might be in. Maybe Bobby, right? Maybe Bobby and the Profits. I think that may be an angle that they may hold off on.
Aren't they? They're SmackDown guys,
right?
I think Omos is going to make his return and win.
And win?
Yeah.
I don't know about win.
He hasn't won a match in like 4 years.
Yeah, because he's not designed to win matches.
You can't. He means nothing if he's on TV twice a year and loses his match. Like he's got to just start showing some dominance here.
Oh, the sponsored Battle Royal winner is going to be a guy who's going to be able to ignite the crowd a little bit.
So if you're talking about Slim Jim and snap it to the Slim Jim, I mean you got to go Rick Boogs.
Boo! That's not a bad idea. Nakamura will be a heavy crowd favorite. So you can expect, I think the Final Four will look like maybe like Nakamura and Riddle from Raw, and then LA Knight, and then like maybe Sheamus or somebody else, or like AJ from SmackDown. And again, like I said, I think Sami Zayn will be in the Battle Royal. Probably won't win it, but I think he'll be a heavy crowd favorite, and he'll be able to get a lot of the crowd into it.
So I think they'll probably start with the Battle Royal, right?
I think so.
So everybody will be in the ring, and then
Logan requested to go open the show.
Okay.
So they may honor that request because, as you know, his brother Jake is fighting or later in the night and wanted to set up the scheduling and all that. So Logan requested to open the show. We'll see if he opens the show.
Battle Royal, though, I think only a few guys usually get their own entrance. And LA Knight will definitely get his entrance.
LA Knight will get his entrance because they're going to want the LA Knight. They're going to want the Ford Field crowd of almost 50,000.
All right, so Logan Paul, Ricochet. Maybe it's going to be an exciting match.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun.
I mean, Logan Paul's got to win, right? He never wins.
I mean, I've thought about this, but according to what we've seen in the build-up, they're clearly building up for Ricochet to win. But I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be very, very exciting. Give them 10 to 15. They probably won't get like 15 minutes, but give them like 10 minutes or so, and they'll make it a lot of fun for the crowd.
All right, so I'm going to pick Logan Paul. You're going to pick Ricochet. So we're differing there. Intercontinental Championship match.
Going to be very good.
Should be hard-hitting.
Yep.
Kind of a rematch from WrestleMania minus Sheamus, though.
Yes.
Gunther is the favorite,
yes.
but not heavily favored. He's minus
Right.
125. Drew is plus 100. So
Right.
could go either way.
Right.
I don't think this Gunther reign is going to end just yet. So
No, I don't think
Gunther is
so
going to
either.
win this one. Plus, he's got his buddies Ludwig Kaiser and Gianni Da Vinci ringside. So it's going to be too much for McIntyre to handle.
Yeah, Gunther is close to becoming the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time. So before he loses, he will likely extend that reign and break the record. But I do see, if what I see from the story is going to play out, I imagine that they'll build Drew up to be the guy who beats him for the IC title.
We're going to keep it going, you're saying?
I think the premium live event that's at the end of September, I forgot the exact date on it. I believe by then that Gunther will have surpassed the reign because he's over 400 days now. And I think he had from this point on another like 30 or so left to go.
That's it?
Yeah, 30 to 40 days.
I
So
thought Honky Tonk Man was like 1,000-day reign or something.
no, it's like 450 something. I think 454 maybe. I got to double check that.
So Gunther, you think he's dropping it? He'll win like Elimination Chamber. He's going to face Seth Rollins at WrestleMania.
I think it's going to be him against Brock Lesnar next year for the title.
Okay, so Brock's going to beat Reigns at some point.
Brock will beat.
Brock's going to beat Rollins at some point.
Yes, he'll be the World Heavyweight Champion at some point.
Okay. All right. So talking about Brock, he's facing Cody Rhodes here. Cody Rhodes is a huge favorite, minus 900. Brock's plus 500. Cody, he breaks his arm. He miraculously recovers in 3 weeks. Then he breaks his arm again, and it's fine in a week. Guys, talk about Super Cena healing. Super Cody healing. Jeez. I guess Cody's going to win. I know you're really invested in this feud. I don't really like it because there's very minimal storytelling. We still don't know why Brock initially attacked Cody after WrestleMania. So I don't know what's going on. It's kind of just like we got to find some filler stuff for Cody Rhodes here for a year until we can maybe get him back to a championship picture. Cody Rhodes, I think, will win. I don't really know how the finish is going to happen, but it'll probably be not exactly clean. It's just the status quo with.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think it's going to be a little shenanigans in this match, but Cody's going to win. I don't know if he's going to win with like the crossroads, though. I think I could see him like.
I think in this match, Brock Lesnar will get busted open on the ring post.
Yeah, sure. What is the prop for Brock to bleed?
It's gonna be like minus 1,000.
I don't know if it's minus but if it's like minus 150 or something, like that's the prop to bet in this match is Brock to bleed.
Oh, no doubt about it. So we both got Cody in this. Let's talk about the World Heavyweight Championship match, which again we just saw this like last month, so I don't really care. Seth Rollins, he's minus 300. Finn's plus 200. Seth's going to win. The only question here is, will Damian Priest come into play here?
I think so. I think you're getting 2 cash-ins at SummerSlam.
Oh, so you think Damian's going to cash in?
I think Damian's going to cash in and win.
Oh, jeez. That would be awful. So tell me how that's going to play out. It's going to cost Finn. Remember Finn?
Seth is going to beat Finn. Damian's going to come out and cash in. There's going to be a moment where Damian is looking at Finn and Finn's looking at him a little reluctantly. And Damian's going to have the like, you better help me win the world title look. And Finn is going to be like, and he's going to do it. And Damian's going to win the world title.
Oh, jeez. Well, then I really hope Brock Lesnar destroys Damian Priest next month.
Well, I think eventually Brock is going to go through the Judgment Day at some point.
Is he going to turn face? He's going to go back to face?
Yeah, because they're going to keep Gunther as a heel. So doesn't make sense.
Brock should destroy that Judgment Day. You know I hate the Judgment Day. You know I hate them.
Right.
All right, Rhea Ripley, Raquel Rodriguez. I think Raquel needs to win. And I'm going to say Raquel does win because I think Rhea as champion does nothing because it doesn't mean anything. Why is she champion? She's in all these men's feuds. She doesn't need to be champion. She's on TV with the Judgment Day. So I think Raquel wins.
This match is happening? I didn't think this match was happening. I thought they put it up because of the Raquel injury.
Well, yes, but I think maybe Raquel shows up and is like, they're gonna go. They're gonna not have 2 women's matches on this card. I don't know. I mean, they already canceled 1 women's match, so we'll see. It's unannounced. We're doing this show live on Thursday, so you never know what happens on Saturday, or WWE does their Twitter exclusive stuff. I just think the way they're building it, I think Liv is going to maybe help Raquel win, but I don't know when the match is going to happen. Again, this is what I'm saying about Rhea. She's the champion, and she's never having singles matches. So to me, it doesn't make sense to keep her as champion.
Right.
All right. The women's match, that is going to be the match of the night, which I think is the main event, which we know is not going to. It's going to be Asuka versus Bianca versus Charlotte. Asuka's the favorite at plus 125 to win. Bianca plus 250, Charlotte plus 300. And then you got the cash-in, right? So obviously you're saying cash-in. So how's this match going to play out and lead to the cash-in?
I think that Asuka is going to barely win, and then Io's going to come down and she's going to cash in.
Okay. All right. So I think Asuka's going to win. But
I've been flirting with the idea that Io's going to be the first woman to not
successfully
cash in. Yeah. And I keep and I'm thinking, will it happen?
She'll get misted. She'll get misted.
Right, but it's like if she's the one who doesn't fail, the thing is,
I just can't see 2 cash-ins on the same night.
That's why I think it's going to happen, because they've never done it before.
I think they should both lose. But
you kill the briefcase dead on arrival.
You definitely need a woman's loser.
Between theory,
you need a woman's loser.
See, it would have made more sense if Bayley would have won the briefcase, failed the cash in because of Io, and then Io beats Bayley, and then goes to win the title.
Maybe Io wins.
So when they put the briefcase on Io, she's not the damage control thing was not my cup of tea either. But if Io loses the cash in, that's it. It's going to be very, very difficult for her to be built back up to that point. So she's going to have to win the cash in.
Can you ever bet against Charlotte Flair comfortably?
She's undefeated at SummerSlam. We went through this last night with my mother. She's 5-0.
And she's 5-0 with got the worst odds in this match.
She's missed SummerSlam.
I'm going to say Charlotte wins.
I could see it, 100%.
Charlotte wins, but that's going to be 15.
I don't think Bianca is going to win. I think the decision
Bianca's got to turn heel
with the Street Profits.
Because I think ultimately they'll do Charlotte versus Bianca as a singles match. Right now, Asuka's the heel. Charlotte's the face is a face in this match.
Yep.
Charlotte, I think, will go top turnbuckle, ringside to take somebody out. What do you think?
I think it's possible.
Safe bet?
Yeah.
All right. I think this is gonna be the best match. What do you think?
I think so too. I think for entertainment purposes, if Ricochet and Logan Paul do crazy stuff, that'd be fun. But I think the best matches of the night will be Gunther and Drew. It'll be the women's title match, and it'll probably be Tribal Combat. All
right, Tribal Combat, Roman Reigns, he's going to win. The question is how, and does Jay get involved? Are you excited for this match? I personally am not, because I know the result already.
Well, anything that the Bloodline does, I'm excited for.
You're all out of the Bloodline.
I'm all in the Bloodline.
All right, so is Jay going to come back? And those rumors, maybe Jay maybe Jimmy costs Jay.
I think it's possible that Jimmy works his way into the match and then does something impulsively and misconnects and hits Jay instead. And then he has to live with himself that he costs Baby Bro the WWE Undisputed Championship again and the opportunity to be the tribal chief. He's got to live with that the rest of his life. And then because eventually they want to have a match against each other. They mentioned that this is their dream match. It's to have Jimmy versus Jey Uso.
Really?
So I think what makes sense is that like something like that happens, and then begrudgingly, like they're still a tag team, they're not a part of the bloodline or something. They're looking to work their way back to the tag titles and stuff like that. And eventually, in time, it totally boils over, and they go at each other, and they set up possibly a build maybe for next year at WrestleMania because they've already done the tag team thing multiple times. They've already main evented WrestleMania as tag team champions. The only things that they have left to do are main event WrestleMania and win the tag title, which I don't think that's going to happen, and then or have their match against each other, which is something that they really want. So we'll see.
My big question for you, Joe, with SummerSlam is, where's Edge? Why is Edge not having?
He might be in the Battle Royal.
All right, if he is, he's going to win.
I don't know about that. Is Grayson Waller going to be in the Battle Royal?
I was thinking they're going to do
I can see Grayson Waller winning the Battle Royal.
That'd be great. I just don't understand how you don't have Edge. I mean, he has that random triple threat match to be the number one contender to be advanced to the finals for the World Heavyweight Championship. Then he does a main event match with Grayson Waller. And then you don't see him at SummerSlam, the second biggest pay-per-view of the year. He's not even involved. They're saving him for a crown jewel, I guess. I don't know. I thought he was retiring soon. You figured I thought he was definitely going to get a championship during this return here, and he hasn't.
He doesn't need a title.
No, he doesn't need it, but I figured he would. So I think they should do a Grayson Waller effect and do it big. Yeah.
Well, he's trying to get The Rock to be on the Grayson Waller effect.
The Rock. Listen, The Rock's available. John Cena's available.
They're all available.
They're not acting. Do we see either of them?
Listen, do you want to be like Trish? Because Trish got the itch and she came back. You always get the itch and you always want to come back.
I think Trish is disappointed, though, that she's not having a SummerSlam match. Because they probably pitched her on this. So you're
absolutely
big SummerSlam match.
We're going to build to a 3 matches. You're going to have the first one in Saudi Arabia. And then the second one never really materialized. Becky had good matches with Zoe on Raw. Zoe is coming along. She could be a player for them. But the fact that this match was not at SummerSlam and you're not going to get to showcase all of them, like that hurts them all a little bit, I think.
So my prediction is John Cena, who had an iconic entrance back in the day in Detroit, he will be at SummerSlam.
You think he's going to show up 2 premium live events in a row?
I think he's back now. I think he's going to be here until he can act again. John Cena is not the type of guy who's going to sit at home in Tampa Bay and take the sun. I don't know. Maybe I don't think there's any acting going on right now. I think with the strike, everything got shut down. So I think Cena's coming back. Remember we had the summer of Cena last year or 2 years ago?
Yep.
This is going to be the fall of Cena. I mean, how much is John Cena going to get paid for a crown jewel match this fall? Hasn't been able to do it in a while.
No.
And there's the endless potential with it, with John Cena being back now. I would love to say it. So I think somebody's going to have to do something because, like I said, this is a lackluster card. Who would you say is most likely to return? Edge, Cena, The Rock, or Randy Orton?
Edge, 1. I don't think Randy Orton is still cleared to compete yet. You see very 50-50 reports about, he's coming back, he's working his way to come back, and then you see Rita report, he hasn't been medically cleared yet.
Right.
So if he's not medically cleared yet, he can't compete, right, as much as he wants to. So the most likely candidate to be back is Edge, who will get an entrance before the Battle Royal. And if Edge is in the Battle Royal, there's enough talent there where you don't really need to necessarily bring everybody back. Now, if you get a Grayson Waller effect, your immediate thought should be, are they teasing us? Is this really happening? I don't know if The Rock is going to want to come back and do the Grayson Waller effect first.
No shot.
Because his family stuff takes precedent, priority.
I don't think The Rock wants to come back. I would be shocked if The Rock comes back.
I think it's funny with him because I agree. I feel like he doesn't want to come back. But again, when your family is leading the charge when it comes to drawing really good ratings for SmackDown on Fox, on SmackDown on FS1, They are the centerpiece of the show. They've been the centerpiece of the show for almost 3 years. We'll say for the better portion of the last 2.5 years, because Roman Reigns had to get his tribal chief run going first a little bit. I mean, when your family is so front and center in the middle of everything, aren't you going to get the itch to come back? Like,
I think he doesn't want to wrestle. I could see him doing a Grayson Waller effect before I could see him wrestling.
I mean, if he wrestles a match, we all know what the match is going to be.
Listen, the Grayson Waller effect, he's going to come out, going to go to good pop, he's going to destroy him with the mic, and he's going to give him the rock bottom, maybe a people's elbow.
Right.
That's what you could expect.
That's what he wants to do. Right. But now he's not bounded by anything, so never say never.
What do you think? Is Big E ever going to wrestle again? Because I miss the New Day, and the programming misses the New Day.
Outside shot, it happens. I think there's a more likely chance that they return sometime in the fall together.
All right, we'll see. I want to see Elias return. They had something going there with Elias and Rick Boogs. They split them, and now neither of them are on TV. And maybe we'll see, Jinder Mahal's stable in the Battle Royal. And Shanky returns. And there's so many people who have not been on TV, but instead we get big Bronson Reed every week. It's crazy. It's really bizarre. It's really disappointing. But speaking of disappointments, Joe, your Yankees, what do you think of what they did at the trade deadline and what they didn't do for so far this season?
Well, I mentioned Billy Epler and the Mets. Billy Epler is not going to have a job. That said, considering how this Mets season has gone,
I think Epler's locked in for next season.
We'll see. I think he did a really solid job at the deadline, kind of pivoting. There's clearly a plan there, right? They were like, okay, we tried to compete. We're probably not going to compete next year, but there's enough talent on this team where if we stick to what we're doing, we can compete in 25, 26. I don't disagree with that. The Yankees at this point, sure, they're 5 over. They're hovering between 5 and 6 and 7 games over. They win a game or two. They lose a game or two, right? They've more or less been a subpar, below average team since the end of May, right? Since the beginning of June. So, like I said, there really aren't that many assets to sell. So you really couldn't go into the trade deadline saying like, oh, like who was their best asset to sell? You mentioned Clay Holmes. That is correct. The bullpen's been pretty solid. So your best assets were really Clay Holmes, Wendy Peralta, and Gleyber Torres.
You should have tried to do maybe a Steve Cohen-esque deal and move Stanton.
Right. Like I said, the Yankees' biggest problem right now is that the payroll is so bloated with like Giancarlo Stanton and DJ LeMahieu. Those guys have not played up to
Josh Donaldson,
what they should be. Right, Josh Donaldson. I mean, you clear all this money, you kind of like take a step back to take 2 steps forward. You infuse the lineup with a little bit of the youth that they have going on in Scranton, Wilkes-Barre. I don't mind that. Everybody says New Yorkers don't like rebuilds.
I hate it.
Well, the Yankees don't have to rebuild. They have an MVP caliber player. Their ace right now leads. He has the lowest ERA in the American League. For all intents and purposes, Garrett Cole is the American League Cy Young frontrunner at this point. So it's like the bullpen is solid. There's some talent. They have a couple of bats. There's something to work with, right? So they have to hit a hard reset. More importantly, they got to figure out how to way to clear salary.
Well, they do need to do that. I'm looking ahead here. With the Mets timeline, it's about 2025. With the Yankees' needs, it's a left-handed hitter. So I think the question really becomes now, is Juan Soto going to be a Yankee or a Met?
He should be a Yankee.
Sure. So should Bryce Harper.
Right. Because he can't play first base.
Oh, boy. All right. Well, that's going to do it here for this episode of You Know I'm Right Live. Hope you enjoyed our Big Brother and SummerSlam talk. How to give Joe the chance to vent on his Yankees. If you haven't already done so, like and subscribe. And also follow us on all social media on Twitter and Instagram at YKIR Podcast. So for Joe Calabrese, I am Nick Durst, and this has been You Know I'm Right Live.